Okay, Justin found his shoes. Now we can get started.
Yep.
Okay, we're just gonna dive into it. Ready?
Sure.
Mark, set, go. Hello and welcome to Little Woolly Things. This is episode 24. This is a knitting and crochet podcast, mostly, and other crafty things that we decide we want to try and do. So anyway, I hope you are having a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us for this episode. We've got a few fun things to talk about, and I might even put a little snippet of our youth orchestra concert at the very end. So, you don't have to listen to our concert if you don't want to. But if you're interested in hearing us play violins and violas and cellos, it will be there at the end. I think I'll do that. Yeah, it was a good concert. Anyway, we're not talking about that yet. Oh, but it is at the top of my notes. So we'll just go ahead and get started. So we are a part of the Umpqua Valley Youth Orchestra that is based in Roseburg, Oregon. And the youth orchestra has over 150 students this year, or had. Our school year has just ended. And we had our end of the year concert on May 28th. It was a good concert. We had a lot of fun. Yep. My daughter Noelle won an award, which was exciting. And we're looking forward to having some time off now that orchestra is over, but we're still doing lessons and trying to keep up our skills at least through the month of June. We're going to take July and August off from lessons and things, but I hope that we'll continue playing music anyway, because life without music is nothing. Okay, let's see. What else do we have to talk about? I have a lot of things that I just jotted down on my list. I have a file on my phone where I make notes of things as I think of them between podcast episodes, and so okay, I need to stop tripping over my tongue here. It's been a while since we had a podcast because the end of the school year was crazy. But anyway, so I tend to spend too much time on Instagram. I have a feeling that a lot of people do that also. But I just recently discovered this hashtag on Instagram, and Elena doesn't have a phone, so she doesn't understand how this works. But on Instagram, I'll explain to you. You know how I put hashtags underneath my posts on Instagram? Yeah. Well, the thing with the hashtag is if you click on it, then you can see all of the pictures that other people have posted using that same hashtag. And there's even a really cool feature where you can follow a hashtag, so anytime somebody posts a picture with that hashtag, then it'll show up in your feed. So it's kind of cool. And I just recently discovered this hashtag. It's crochet hacking. And y'all are probably way ahead of me in this, but crochet hacking is really cool, and I've been really interested in the whole visible mending thing lately, and upcycling clothing. I haven't done a whole lot of it, but it fascinates me, and I wish that I had the time to just sit and sew and crochet and knit and do all those fun, crafty, creative things. But check out the crochet hacking hashtag if you have time. It's a serious rabbit hole you can fall into, and I did recently. I scrolled and got so many great ideas from all of these different projects that people are doing with crochet hacking. So I have this shirt that I want to show to you. It's just a t-shirt, right? Just a t-shirt. And it's even wrinkly because it was in my dresser drawer, all folded up poorly. I wore this the other day, and I thought, you know, these sleeves right here, they're just kind of, there's elastic in them or something. They're a little bit stretchy, but they're not stretchy enough for my big arms. So I think what I want to try and do is cut the sleeves off, or at least cut this the hem part off of it, and then crochet something that would be a little bit looser here and make it a little bit more relaxed, more flowy, more boho look. And I don't have a solid plan for this yet. I think it even has like a hole. Yeah, there's a hole right here in the front. So it needs a little work anyway if I'm going to continue to wear this. So anyway, I might do a little bit of the whatever I decide to do on the sleeves here on the neckline. I might add to the bottom with it. I think that could be a lot of fun. Do you want to go let Squeaker out, honey? So yeah, I think this is going to be my canvas for a creative thing, and I will show you as I decide which yarn or embroidery floss or whatever to use, and as I'm picking out stitch patterns. I love my stitch dictionaries a lot, and I don't know if you guys have discovered this yet or not, but if you search on Pinterest for crochet patterns or knit patterns, wow, there's so much out there. Yeah, Pinterest is another rabbit hole you can fall into, and I'm sure you know about that one. So anyway, yeah, the crochet hacking thing, that really is interesting. And then like the visible mending thing, I have been doing a little bit of that. I had some polar fleece socks that had holes worn all the way through them, and I just took some 100% wool yarn, you know, non-superwash, and I did the woven technique to mend those holes, and I was hoping that the wool would just kind of felt together and make this extra strong patch of fabric to seal those holes, and so far it's working. So I think I posted pictures of that project on Instagram. If anyone wants to go over and check out my Instagram account, it should be there somewhere, but it's been a while since I did that, so you'd have to scroll back a ways. But I also repaired a sweater for a friend of mine, and I actually knitted a pocket to go onto it in the same yarn that I used to patch the holes that were in her sweater, and it just turned out really cute. So yeah, those are things that are running through my brain right now, or recently, off and on. So the next thing on my list of things to talk about, of just, you know, random thoughts, I bought this pattern on Etsy, and it's an old pattern from McCall's, and the date on this, I think, is, oh, it's copyright 1994. So it's a pants pattern. McCall's number 6930, and it is 1 hour pants, and they just look so comfy cozy. They are it says pull on pants with straight or wide legs, and since this was 1994, it also has directions for broomstick crinkling. I don't think I'm going to be doing that particular technique for my pants, but I just want some really comfy pants. I don't want pajama pants. I want something with a little movement to it, some flowiness, because I really love clothing that moves. Not so much into tight clothing. So anyway, I'm going to be working these pants up pretty soon. I'm looking forward to having a pattern that I can use over and over again, and maybe even rework some of the fabric that I already have in my stash, which I think is a good thing to do. Okay. Oh, you know what we need to do next? Oh, I bought this from Diane of Platypus Dream on Etsy. She has a lot of vintage and costuming sewing patterns, so you can check out her Etsy shop if you're interested in such things. So, the next thing we have to talk about, the Odyssey Shawl Knitalong has closed.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah, Elena's Tegna's still working on her shawl. You could be knitting while we're talking.
I could.
Yeah. So anyway, I forgot to bring my Odyssey shawl out here. I actually made 2 of them. Should I go get them?
You could.
I should go get them. Okay, I'll go get my Odyssey shawls. And I have my 2 Odyssey shawls. The first one I made with Morocco Vintage, and I think I did show this off on our last podcast. And this top color is by Prairie, what is it called? Alpaca Prairie yarn. And I really, really love this. I wear a lot of earth tones, and so this I think will be wonderful for matching with a lot of my wardrobe. The second one that I made, this one, oh my gosh, I love so much. These are the colors that I wanted to make when I started my first one, but I didn't have them in my stash, so I had to actually buy this yarn. This is Universal Yarns Sea Spray DK, I think is what this is called. And I have been really wanting to add this dark blue, like almost navy color, more into my wardrobe, into my accessories, because I have a few tops that are that color, and I just have found that I didn't have any shawls, I didn't have any scarves, I didn't have any socks even that would go with that color. So my original thought when I saw the Odyssey shawl was to make one out of blues, and I think the blue, the denim, the gray is a nice gradient color combination, and I am really going to love this one. I haven't finished in my ends yet. You can see they're still flopping, and I have not blocked this yet, but I am really, really looking forward to this Odyssey shawl being ready to be worn. So, since we had this knit along going on, and we promised that someone would win a prize, let me just get onto my Ravelry group here real quick on my phone, and we'll tell you who won the grand prize. Are you excited? Are you in suspense? Sitting on the edge of your seat? Wondering if you won? I'll tell you what, there is only one person who posted a finished object in the FO thread on the Little Woolly Things podcast group on Ravelry. So, if you are the one person who posted an FO, you won! Oh my goodness. This is Cow Lady 9495. And congratulations to Lisa. You won the grand prize because you were faithful to actually post your FO picture. So thank you, Lisa, for taking part in our knit along. I wish that I were better at getting people to chatter and talk and things on Ravelry. I'm working on that. I would love to get together with a ton of people and knit a project all at once and talk about it and help people with areas that might be causing trouble or whatever. It sounds like a lot of fun. So anyway, let's see. Let's do some FOs. I have one FO that I can actually show off. The other one that I finished since the last podcast episode I already gave away. I made those leg warmers for Nana.
Oh.
Yeah, my mother-in-law had surgery on her foot, and she had to keep her foot elevated for, I don't know, weeks. It was a long time. She had to keep her leg elevated. And when she put her foot up on the pillows on the couch, her pant leg would come up, and then her leg would get cold. And she was telling me it was a problem. She didn't know what to do about it. It's too warm to just sit under a blanket. but her leg was getting cold. So I said, oh, hey, I can just knit you a pair of leg warmers. It'll be like the 80s again. And so I knitted her a pair of leg warmers out of Loops and Threads wool-like yarn, and I think it's their rose colorway. And she was really pleased with them. She's been wearing them about, and her legs are staying warm even when she has to put her foot up. So that was cool. So the other FO that I have was made with Yarn Bee Dazzling. This is my one extra skein that I had after finishing it. This is the Azusa Cardigan, and I made this for my mom for Mother's Day. It is a gorgeous drapey cardigan, kind of a bubble shape. I really, really liked the way the gradient colors shifted and blended on this. And yes, it is now June something.
June 4th.
June 4th, and Mother's Day was, last month. But my mother lives too far away to just drive over and give it to her. So I have been holding on to this for when I see her so that I can give it to her. I did send her photos as I was working on it all the way through. So here, I can put it on and let you see how it fits.
I think it goes well with that shirt.
Oh, I think it does. Okay, Mom, I'm going to wear this cardigan for a while. Here we go. So it's very comfy, very drapey. This pattern is from Expression Fiber Arts. And I really believe this is a great pattern to use as a gift knit because it's just big and loose and comfy, and nothing has to be perfectly fitted. You might have to consider how long you want it, if you want it to be like at the waist or below the waist. But there it is. It's very comfy, very cozy, and it's for my mommy. That's my whip, or my FO. Whips. Lainey, you want to show off your project?
I'm in the middle of a row.
You're in the middle of a row.
It's hard to show off, but
Okay.
in the middle of a row.
That's true. Okay, well, I'll just keep talking then. I am also in the middle of a round, but this knitting in the round, there's no end to finish on. This is the beginning of my Tegna. Right here. You can see I have not gotten very far on it. I just cast this on last night. I promised myself that I would hold this for when my next pattern releases, and it was going to be my reward to myself for actually getting it published. But I couldn't wait any longer. My pattern is set to release June 21st, and I will show it to you. I am in the middle of doing just the very final polishing editing, and it's going to be ready to post. It might even be ready before the 21st, actually, but I'm not going to rush myself and take a chance of missing something important in my final editing. So I am using for my whip this yarn. I went to my local yarn shop, which is Naughty Lady Yarns in Roseburg, and I was just looking for something cotton linen to work my Tegna in, and I didn't want to use wool or superwash wool, especially because I've had issues with superwash just stretching out, as it hangs, it stretches and it droops and becomes much longer than I thought it was going to be. So I wanted something that wouldn't droop and sag like that. So Megan and I went back and forth all over the store. She kept thinking, oh, maybe this will work. Why don't you try this? What do you think of this one? What do you think of that? And we went all over the store, every which way. And finally, we were just about ready to give up. And she said, oh, how about this one? It's called Bellatrista, and it's a soy fiber blended with aloe. And it's a fingering weight yarn, 437 yards to 100 grams. And this color is called Moss. So this is what I'm going to be using for my Tegna. It is rather fine, and so it's going to be kind of see-through-ish when it's finished. The final fabric is not very dense, but it drapes and flows beautifully, which is something I really, really love. So I would show off the Tegna pattern, but I'm sure you guys have all seen it already. I'm pretty slow to jump on that bandwagon, I think. This is by Hunter Hammerson, I believe. Boylan Knitworks, yep. Oh, Caitlin Hunter, sorry. Caitlin Hunter, not Hunter Hammerson. Yes, boylanknitworks.com, you can find the Tegna pattern. And I believe I'm going to work mine with either very short sleeves or just a cap sleeve, so it's going to be pretty quick and easy, I think. So far I'm happy with the pattern. I'm only 4 rows into it. The only issue that I have, I think, is because of this yarn. It doesn't stretch, and when you're doing a knit 4 together, it's kind of difficult to get the needle in there and get all those stitches worked. But that's because I'm using this soy fiber yarn. I'm going to take this off because it's really warm. So that is something to consider if you are working a summer top with a lace pattern, that it might, whoops, there went my bag. The lace might be a little bit difficult to work in a yarn that doesn't have any elasticity. Okay, so I have one stash acquisition that I can show off. I bought this from Ridiculous Yarns. I haven't even opened it. I've been so good waiting to podcast to get into this yarn. I don't know if you have seen her videos that she posts on Instagram, but wow, her dye method is amazing, and she's like a magician showing off these skeins of yarn as they come out of the dye pots, and she's hanging them up. So this is called Honeycomb. This is by Ridiculous Yarns, and it is her Joxer DK weight 4-ply, 100% superwash merino, 231 yards to 100 grams. I love these colors. I really have a thing for fall colors. And so, oh my gosh, I wish I could have a whole sweater out of this yarn. Feel how soft that is. Isn't that gorgeous? It's got this almost a burgundy, like a cedar color, cedar wood, and then it's got this golden yellow and kind of it's not really olive, but there's a little bit of oliveness to that brown tone. I think it's probably the way that the colors just play together where they combine, but oh, this is just, it's going to be heaven to work with. And she included a sample of another colorway, and this one is, let's see, Dawn on the Pier. So that will be fun. I'm going to throw that in my jar where I keep all of my little minis. So she says this is 104 yards. That will be fun to include in a pair of scrappy socks or something. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting to play with that. That's fun. All right, so the last thing I have to talk about is my pattern that I'm going to be releasing on the 21st, and it is called Mauve and Dangerous. It was inspired by a Doctor Who episode, and as you can see back here, maybe, Tori So is wearing it. There she is. This is a stole design, and it has a very 1940s chanteuse sort of vibe. At least that's the way I feel. And just show it off to you. What I love about this is that it has a ruffle that undulates across the length of the stole so that it's basically a rectangle with curved ends, and this ruffle just undulates up and down and up again across it. And then it's finished with I-cord peepa knots and another I-cord that runs through with tassels on the end. And there are just, I think, a lot of wonderful ways that you can wear this. This is a collaboration.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, this is like my color today. Okay, so this was a collaboration with Kayla of Whips on Sticks, and she dyed this yarn for me just for this pattern, and I really think she nailed it. She is selling kits for this yarn with 2 skeins of the main colorway and then a 50-gram skein of the contrast darker mauve colorway. And it is plenty of yarn to make this. I include directions in the pattern for lengthening it if you need more length to get around your arms or your shoulders, or shortening it if you have a very narrow frame and you don't want this much to wrap all the way around you. It's really cute if you make it so that it just comes together in the front. Right, yeah. In order to do that on me, I have to flop it to the back. So, yes, there are options. I have also included video tutorials in the pattern, so as you come to each section of the pattern, there will be a link that you can click on if you are viewing the pattern on an electronic device. It will take you right to a video of me showing you how to do that step. If you like to print out your patterns, then you can just type that into your browser on your computer or your phone, and you can go straight to that. So you do have a little bit of help getting through the pattern. It has a few interesting techniques that might be unusual to you, so that's why I put those videos in there. I also got inspired and put together a YouTube playlist, so you have some music to knit to put you in the proper mood for this particular design, at least the mood that inspired me as I was designing it. So I hope that you will check that out. Go to Kayla's website, whipsonsticks.com, to buy the yarn for it. And then June 21st, the pattern will go live on Ravelry, and if you are following me on Instagram or if you are in my podcast group on Ravelry, I'll be announcing it there. I probably will also announce it on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Little Woolly Things all over the internet. So I hope that it is well received. It's really cool to see people working with my patterns and showing off their finished objects. It's really, really awesome. So I think that's all I have to talk about. I think so. Yeah, so anyway, I've had a lot of fun getting another chance to sit and chat with you, and I do appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about knitting. I would love to hear about your projects. You can comment down below right here. You can look me up on Instagram because I'm there way too often, so that's probably a really good way to get a response from me. Yeah, there's just, it's summertime and the sky's blue and the birds are singing and the flowers are blooming, and I hope that you have a chance to get out and enjoy it. Bring your knitting with you, because you never know when you'll have time to catch a stitch or two. And we will talk to you next time. Stick around if you want to hear us play in the youth orchestra. Thanks. Bye.